Hi friends, this is Andy Vegan again, and today I have something very special, a very complex, refined recipe. It's from another chef. Yeah, I featured that here, and it is from the vegetarian summer festival in Berlin 2014. Has been this weekend, and because of this festival they published a cake recipe with a chocolate blueberry cake. I have to say, I'm impressed, not only because of the chocolate blueberry combination, that sounds very intriguing to me, but also about the ground of the cake. It is with the quinoa, you see, and it is sprouted quinoa. Can you see this? It takes a day. Sometimes it takes only 3 hours. Quinoa is a very special vegetable, grain. It is not even a grain, it is some kind of grain, it's grass. And it is an amazing food, very healthy, can very easily be cooked, and is high protein and super healthy. And they use it for a cake, just sprouting it with some almonds. Here I have 200 grams almonds, the same amount of sprouted quinoa, and some date mousse here. And a little change, because of the sweetener, I always take melted sweetener. I always prefer date mousse. And I have some chocolate powder. See, here 3 tablespoonfuls of chocolate powder, a little vanilla powder here, and some salt. A little bit of salt only to make it special, the flavor. Well, I just begin with the dough for the cake. Yeah. And I'll show you the filling later. First I put in, like always, the almonds. Oh, my knife. There. The blade has to be in there, of course. The blade, here the S blade is in there, you see, in my food processor. And the quinoa, the almonds. So, the chocolate powder, the vanilla powder, the little bit of salt, and of course, the date mousse, the sweetener. I never made this kind of bottom of a cake with the quinoa, and I'm really interested in how it will work. I guess I made a little mistake here. You see, something new, and I made a mistake. I see this should be done almost, but I will try. Sometimes you have to scrape down the sides a little bit. The dough has to be covering the blades, otherwise, of course, it will not work. And I have to do that in between, so I didn't show you all that, but I will try now. The dough, what it tastes like. Oh, nice. Interesting. Very good. Okay, here, my spring form. It's about 20 centimeters, a little bit more, and it's lined with parchment paper here, so I can easily take it off the form once it's done. So now I take it off the blade again, and put the dough into the form. And this is all I have to do to get the bottom of the cake. Sprouting grains and seeds is very useful for any kind of diet, I would almost say, because these grains that have been sprouted, they are not only healthier, they are also full of nutrients that are not in the seed. So it's very nice to have them sprouted before you eat them, and you can do this in many ways and use it in many ways. Now I press the dough onto the bottom of the spring form. It is very easy, and I already see, I told you I never made it before, it's an experiment for me. It looks very nice as a bottom. can imagine, it will be a nice cake. A thick layer of quinoa, and a bit more dates, and almonds, a little vanilla, cacao powder. See, that's it. This is what my ground looks like, my bottom, you see. I put that aside here, and now I begin with the filling. For the filling, I've already prepared the ingredients, of course. It is here 3 cups of cashews, soaked. I soaked them overnight. That doesn't need to take that long. You see what happens to the cashews if you soak them here. They jump open, they get very thick, they're higher in volume. So it's very nice and creamy and easy to be blended. They have to be blended in a very creamy batter filling, and I put it into the batter first, together with some water. I take 1 cup of water about. It has to be a very creamy texture, so I do that first, because then it's easier for the blender to work. There was some date mousse in the blender before I began, because I made my date mousse in advance. So this is the. Oh, I could blend it some more time, because it should be a little more creamy. So I do it all over a couple of seconds more to be really creamy and nice. I'm sure this will do it now. This is the first step. I have the cashew cream. See? Cashew cream. It should be nice and thick. Not too. You don't use too much water, because then the cake will be more firmer. That is nice, of course, for a cake to be firm. It keeps its shape. So the rest of the ingredients, the blueberries, I show you at first. These are delicious blueberries. They are wonderful. I get them from a farmer. He's not far from Berlin. He drives to Berlin every Saturday, and I get my blueberries, and these are really excellent. I really prefer these. A little bit more expensive, but they are really super delicious. So they come in late, at the last moment. First I prepare the dough. The cashews first, then I have here chocolate butter, cacao butter, you see. This is cacao butter. It's about 80 grams, maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons have molten it. See, in my cup with hot water. It's a nice construction I always use. See, on top comes the metal container. The butter goes in, and I have some coconut mousse. You see the same principle, the same amount, 4 or 5 tablespoons of coconut mousse, also molten, goes in there too. That will allow this cream to become very firm in the end, because the day temperature, when it's not warm again anymore, the cacao mousse, the coconut mousse becomes firm, so the cake. I have date mousse here, again, just a cup date mousse. I told you I made it before, and I have vanilla powder here, and salt again, a little bit more than before for the bottom. Then 1.5 tablespoons, teaspoons, and I have a half lemon juice. That's required by the recipe. half a lemon. I guess it's I don't know what to use it for. I will see, we'll find out. I just tried. And I have some cacao powder here, 1 cup again. You see? That's all that goes in. Oh, the cacao should go in later. First I will mix up the ingredients here. Might be okay. Yes, looks nice and creamy. I will taste it. Oh, it's very nice. Homogeneous. Ah, I understand. The lemon. I don't use too much lemon. Just half a lemon to give it a little bit roundness. And now I put the cacao powder in. Again, I have to mix it. To put the top on, otherwise it might spring all of the blender. As you can hear, the blender has stopped to get all the things mixed together at the end. That means the consistency is pretty good for the cake. So if the blender has trouble working, then you know the cake has a good consistency, a good texture. So I take off the plunger. Have a look at my filling. Oh, it looks beautiful. Wow, looks amazing. I help a little bit to get it all mixed up evenly at the top, as the pretty firm mass already. Of course, the powder has remained a little bit untouched, but now it's very easy to get it all combined. Can you see what it looks like? Cacao cream, chocolate cream, and it is indeed a chocolate. I have a self-made, homemade chocolate here because of cacao butter. Cacao butter makes it chocolate. That's the part that gets taken away from the cacao bean, and together with some cream, I put all of this now into a. Where was my here? Sorry. I have a little fork here. To mix in the blueberries. I put all the cream into a bowl. So like this. Of course there is some of the pudding, some of the chocolate cream is sticking to the ground of the mix of the blender. So I have to all spray it off. This is an advantage of this kind of blender, because you have a large bottom of this blender. This it's bright, it's wide, so you have a lot of, you can easily scrape out all of the chocolate mousse. So, the rest can be done later in privacy. Here kind of have to show you this nice, wonderful cream. Can you see? It's like a wonderful chocolate cream. Can you see? You can eat it like as it is. Of course, it should be like that. That's why I like to make cakes, because you have always the most wonderful ingredients, and yeah, it's a real pleasure to play with them. So carefully. Put in the blueberries. Oh, I can't wait to try this cake. Maybe I will give it to a friend of mine, having her 50th birthday next Friday. And I am invited, of course. So I could bring her this cake. Of course, I have to make sure this is a delicious cake. So what I've seen so far, it's very nice. Now I come back with my spring form, filling it out with the texture, the mixture, the filling. What a nice chocolate blueberry cake. I'm really looking forward. I put it in the fridge now. It will firm up overnight. A couple of hours would also do, I guess. Gives a nice face on top. Have a look. Do you like this one? I can't wait. Either one night or 3 days, till Friday. Then I have it together with her and some other friends of Triora International. Friends, see you very soon.